Woohoo! Video number 3. Okay, so we started talking about sequences, geometric and arithmetic sequences, and now we're going to go a little bit more into arithmetic today and talk about series. So a series, this definition right here, is a mathematical expression for the sum of the terms of a sequence. So now we're looking at the sequence and we're going to find the sum. And then there's also, you can take arithmetic mean. So say you have a sequence and you're missing a term, you can go ahead and take the two numbers on either side to the left or the right of the missing term, add those together and divide by 2. Okay, so you'll use this to find a missing term. And sometimes you'll be able to see it without doing this, but it's just good practice to know that this is how you would find it. Okay, so when we're looking at series, we can have geometric and arithmetic. We're going to be focusing on arithmetic today. So arithmetic series, is a series where the sequence is arithmetic. So basically it's adding or subtracting by the same thing every time. A lot of the times for a series, you're going to be finding the sum of it. And so we have this formula here that will help us find it. So this is saying the sum of all the terms. And then you'll take however many terms there are, divide by 2. And then in parentheses, we have our first term plus the last term. So you will have to plug in whatever, if there's 20 terms, 20 in for your explicit or formula and find that first in order to find the sum. And we'll do some examples. Then one thing is, a lot of the problems you're going to be seeing is a new form that you haven't seen before, and that's called summation notation. So it's this big sigma, this E right here, and then the upper limit, which is just how many terms there are, and then lower limit, meaning this is where it starts. And then after the sigma here, you're going to see the explicit formula, and you can then find the sum by doing the longhand, where you do the first term, so 3 times 1, the second term, 3 times 2, and so on until the upper limit here, which is 5. And then you would add those all together. Or you can use your formula and only have to know the first term and the last term, and then use the formula. So we're going to jump into some examples on how to use these. Okay, so here we go. We got some examples here. So it says, find the missing term in the arithmetic sequence. So remember that we're going to take the sum of the two terms, one before, one after. So if we're looking at it, we're going to take this term here and this term here, and we're going to add them. So sum of two terms. And then we're going to divide it by 2. So we're going to take 2 plus 0 and then divide it by 2. So we have 2 over 2. So our missing term is 1. Oops. Okay, and then the same thing over here. So take this term here, add them together. So negative 0.1 plus negative 0.3, and then divide by 2. And so you'll go ahead and do that, and this would be negative 0.4 divide by 2. So negative 0.4 divide by 2, which gives us negative 0.2. And earlier I had mentioned that sometimes you can see what the term should be without doing the math. So here we could see that, oh, that's minus 1. 0 to negative 1, that's minus 1. So I would just minus 1 there. But sometimes it won't be as easy to see the pattern, so we can always use that as well. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video and do the 2 try it problems here before watching me do them. Okay, so hopefully you gave those a shot. And then here is my work. So again, we take the previous and then the next term, add them together, divide by 2. So this one would get negative 1.6. And then here we do 215 plus 11 divided by 2. And so this is like a case that you might not necessarily see exactly what it is right away, and might not want to do like calculations of, okay, what's being subtracted here, what's being subtracted here. So then this, you could do the formula. Another case is in your homework, you're going to get problems that just give you two terms. So like if I only could see this and then this, I wouldn't be able to know what this term is without using the formula. So just keep that in mind, that I don't expect you to have to use the formula, but if there are going to be some cases that you will have to. Again, if you have any questions, please email Ms. Holstad or I, and we will get back to you and help you as much as we can. Okay, so we found the missing terms. Now we're going to find the sum of the following arithmetic sequences. So we have the form that I was telling you about. So this number here is going to be the number of terms. And then this is where it starts. And then this is the explicit formula. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to use our formula to find the sum. And in order to do that, we need to know the first term and we need to know the last term. So we need to find these two things before we can do it. So the first term, we're just plugging in the 1 into this equation. So 12 plus 12 times 1. So then this is going to get 24. So when I plug in, I'm going to be plugging in 24 for the a of 1. And then we need to find the nth, the last term. So we're going to be plugging in a of 20. So we're going to be plugging in 20 for the n. So 12 plus 12 times 20. And then you go ahead and calculate that out, and you get 253. Okay, and then that is going to be going in for this term here. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and plug in. So we're finding the sum of, and this is, sorry, my highlighter is not opening. Going to be looking at the n value, which is going to be this one right here. So now we have the sum of 20 terms equals 20 divided by 2 times our 24 plus the 253. And then remember PEMDAS, so do parentheses first, and then you're going to be doing the multiplication. Sorry, it was 252. I am not sure why I said 253. So again, this was 252. Okay, so now we're going to add these two and then do the division. So we're going to have 10 times and then add these two together, and we get 276 and then times that by 10. So our final answer is 2,760. So the sum of the 20 terms for this sequence is that 2,760. So again, if you have any questions, please email Ms. Holstad or I. Go ahead and try this one. I'm going to set it up really quick and then pause the video and try it on your own. So again, this is our n, and then we're going to have to find the first term. So we're going to have to find that first term, and then we're going to have to find the last term. And then we can go ahead and jump into that. So go ahead and do that. So a of 1, and then we're going to do 4 times 1 plus 1, which is then going to give us 8, and then we need to do the last term, which is 16, so we need to do a of 16. So then we're going to do 4 times 16 plus 1, so 4 times 17. Okay, and then go ahead and plug in. So we're now finding the sum of 16 terms. And then we have 16 terms divided by 2. And then our first term, which was 8, plus our last term. And then go ahead and do that. So now we have 8 times 76. So our sum of the 16 terms is 608. Okay, and then if you have any questions, again, I'm going to keep saying it, email Ms. Holstad or I. We are here to help. Okay, so now here are some try-its. I put the formula up top just like to have it right there to remind you. So then go ahead and pause the video and try these 3 try-it problems and then check your answers. Okay, so again, we had to find the last term in all of them by plugging in whatever n was into the equation and finding what that last term was, and that going inside right here. And then we also needed to find the first term, which you'll see on the top in blue, and plugging it in. And then you also needed to make sure that you used the n in the equation there. Okay. So after you find those first and last terms, plugging in your n, and then 82 divided by 2 is 41, 0 and 162, and then you're just multiplying. And the same idea with all of these. So make sure that you're using the formula. Make sure if you're a color coder to color code it until you get a hang of it. If you have any questions, email Ms. Holstad or I, and we will get back to you. We can email you back, and then also on Friday I'm going to be doing live videos to help you, so that might help as well. Okay? I hope you all are having a great time, and we miss you. And I hope that this is still meaningful for you. And again, email us with any questions or how you're doing. Thanks.